Hi there and welcome to the next episode where we're going to create a woven wheel stitch. We're going to use 6 strands of floss, and until now we've tied a knot in the end of our thread, but here we're going to practice casting on by creating 2 tiny stitches somewhere that's going to be concealed. And we're going to do that right in the middle because woven wheel covers a lovely large surface area. So once we've done our 2 little stitches, we're going to work on creating some straight stitches, which if you watch the first episode you'll remember are super easy. We're just going to go in at the middle and then bring our needle out to the edge of the marker point, up through the middle again and then out to the marker point. And I'm going to create 5 of these, and the first one is straight up, so that's 12 o'clock. You're then going to create another at around 5 o'clock and then another which is kind of halfway between 2 and 3 o'clock. And then we're going to mirror those on the opposite side, and this gives us 5 wheel spokes effectively to weave our thread around. Ideally you'd have these as evenly placed as possible, and if you want to you can mark them on the fabric beforehand. So now I'm creating my last spoke in my wheel. I'm going to bring my thread up through the middle and I'm going to start weaving it under and over each of those spokes. So I'm going to start with the first straight upright and I'm going to go under that one. And then I'm going to pull my thread over the next spoke and then under the following. I'm working in an anti-clockwise direction, although you could work clockwise and that would be fine too. Just continue weaving your thread over and under, over and under. Now you don't want to pull your thread too tight. If you do, your woven wheel will look pretty flat. And ideally you want to end up with something that looks like a lovely rose shape. So I try and keep my thread fairly slack, which will come in handy when I get closer to the end of this stitch. So we're going to keep going with that process, over, under, just working your way all the way around until you've pretty much used up most of your thread and you've got towards the edge of that outer marker point. So let's speed things up a bit. Now we are coming to the last couple of stitches, so I'm going to go over and under just a couple more times to use up a bit more of my thread and to get closer to that outer marker point. And when I'm done, I'm just going to tuck my needle under my woven wheel, put it through to the other side, and that gives me a tail of thread that I can then tie off. Now my woven wheel is nice and fluffy, but I think we can make it look better. I like to use the end of my needle, the blunt end, the eye, and tease out those strands just to make it look a little bit more plump and to pull the thread away from the surface of the fabric.